What if I told you that the very pain you have carried for years, the ache in your body, the wound in your heart, the suffering that has stolen your sleep and drained your hope, could vanish, completely and permanently, the moment you learn how to speak to it correctly? What if the cure you have been searching for in hospitals, in pharmacies, in the words of doctors and the silence of desperate prayers, has been living inside you all along, waiting, patiently, for you to discover the sacred language of your own subconscious mind? My friend, I ask you now, with all the sincerity of my soul, have you ever considered that your pain is not your enemy, but a messenger? That it has not come to destroy you, but to reveal something within you that must be transformed? And that once you understand the divine law of the mind, once you learn to speak the language of the infinite healing presence within you, that pain will have no choice but to bow, to dissolve, to disappear as darkness disappears when light enters a room. This is not fantasy. This is not wishful thinking. This is the eternal law of your own being, written into the very fabric of your subconscious mind by the Creator Himself. And tonight, I will show you exactly how to use it. If these words are already stirring something deep within you, if you feel the truth of what I am saying resonating in your heart, then I ask you to do something simple but powerful. Subscribe to this channel right now and press the like button as an act of faith, as a declaration that you are ready to receive the healing wisdom that is about to flow into your consciousness. And in the comments below, write these words: I am healed, I am whole, I am free. Speak it into existence, and watch how the universe responds. Now let us begin. There is a power within you right now, at this very moment, that is capable of healing any condition, dissolving any pain, and restoring your body and mind to perfect wholeness. This power does not discriminate. It does not ask whether you are worthy. It does not demand that you perform rituals or earn your healing through suffering. It simply responds to the nature of your thought, to the quality of your belief, to the feeling of your heart. This is the power of your subconscious mind, and it is the greatest healing force in the entire universe. I have spent my life studying this power. I have witnessed it heal cancers that doctors declared terminal. I have seen it mend broken hearts, restore shattered finances, and lift men and women from the depths of despair into lives of radiant joy. And I tell you now, with absolute certainty born of decades of observation and application, the healing you seek is not something you must beg for. It is something you must accept. It is already yours. It has always been yours. The only thing standing between you and perfect health is the belief in your own mind that it is not possible. The Bible tells us in Proverbs 23:7, "As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he." This is not poetry. This is not metaphor. This is the fundamental law of the universe, stated plainly for all who have ears to hear. Your body, your circumstances, your health, your wealth, your relationships, all of these are the outward manifestations of the thoughts you hold in your heart. Change the thought, and you change the manifestation. Speak a new word into your subconscious mind, and your subconscious mind will build a new body, a new life, a new reality. But how do you do this? How do you speak to the deep mind within you? How do you communicate with this infinite intelligence that governs every cell, every organ, every function of your being? The answer is simpler than you might imagine, and yet it requires something that most people are unwilling to give: complete, unwavering faith. You see, your subconscious mind is always listening. Every thought you think, every word you speak, every image you hold in your imagination is being received by this infinite power within you. It does not argue. It does not question. It simply accepts whatever you give it and goes to work immediately to bring it into manifestation. If you tell it that you are sick, it will make you sicker. If you tell it that you are in pain, it will deepen your pain. If you tell it that healing is impossible, It will make healing impossible for you, not because it wants to harm you, but because it is bound by eternal law to respond to your dominant thought. This is why the great teacher Florence Scovel Shinn taught that your word is your wand. She understood that the words you speak, both silently in your mind and aloud with your lips, are creative forces that shape the very substance of your experience. She said, "The game of life is a game of boomerangs. Our thoughts, deeds, and words return to us sooner or later with astounding accuracy." How accurate this is! How perfectly it aligns with the truth I have discovered in my own work with the subconscious mind. When you speak to your pain, you must speak with authority. You must speak with the conviction that comes from knowing, not hopping, not wishing, but knowing, that the infinite healing presence within you is already at work, already dissolving the condition, already restoring you to wholeness. You do not beg. You do not plead. You command in the name of the divine power that created you that your body return to its natural state of perfect health. Consider this carefully. Your body was designed by an intelligence far greater than any human mind can comprehend. This intelligence knew how to form your eyes, your heart, your lungs, your brain. It knew how to orchestrate the trillions of cells within you into a harmonious symphony of life. Do you truly believe that this same intelligence has forgotten how to heal you? Do you truly believe that it is incapable of dissolving whatever condition has taken root in your body? The problem is never with the infinite. The problem is always with your acceptance. I remember a woman who came to me many years ago, suffering from chronic pain in her back that had persisted for over 15 years. She had seen every specialist. She had tried every treatment. She had spent fortunes on remedies that provided only temporary relief, if any at all. She was convinced that she would live with this pain for the rest of her life, and she had resigned herself to a future of suffering. I listened to her story with compassion, but I also recognized the error in her thinking. She had given her pain power over her. She had made it her master rather than her servant. She had accepted the verdict of the outer world, the doctors, the tests, the failed treatments, rather than turning within to the only power that could truly heal her. I asked her a simple question. I said, "Have you ever spoken to your pain?" She looked at me as though I had lost my mind. "Speak to it," she said. "It is not a person, it is a condition." I smiled and replied, "It is a manifestation of your own consciousness. It exists within you because you have given it a home. And just as you gave it permission to exist, you can withdraw that permission. You can speak to it with the authority of the divine mind within you, and you can command it to leave." She was skeptical, of course. Most people are when they first hear this truth. But she was also desperate, and desperation often opens the door that pride keeps closed. I taught her a simple technique. Every night before sleep, she was to relax her body completely and enter into that drowsy, receptive state that exists between waking and sleeping. In that state, the conscious mind relaxes its guard, and the subconscious mind becomes extraordinarily receptive to suggestion. I instructed her to speak directly to her body, with calm authority, saying these words: "I speak now to the infinite intelligence that created me and sustains me. I command every cell, every tissue, every organ of my being to return to perfect harmony and perfect health. The pain that has lived in my back has no power, no reality, no existence apart from my belief in it. I now withdraw that belief. I release it completely. I am whole. I am healed. I am free." She followed these instructions faithfully, not because she believed they would work, but because she had nothing left to lose. And within 3 weeks after 15 years of suffering, the pain vanished. Completely. Permanently. It never returned. Was this a miracle? In one sense, yes. In another sense, it was simply the operation of natural law. The miracle was not that her body healed. The miracle was that she finally allowed it to heal by changing the content of her subconscious mind. Neville Goddard, that profound teacher of the creative power of imagination, understood this principle deeply. He taught that your imagination is God, that whatever you can conceive and believe in your imagination will become your reality. He said, "Assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled." This is precisely what healing requires. You must not focus on the pain as it currently is. You must assume the feeling of wholeness. You must imagine yourself already healed, already free, already vibrant with life and energy. And you must hold that feeling, that assumption, that inner conviction, until it sinks deep into your subconscious mind and becomes your new dominant belief. The great psychologist Carl Jung spoke of the collective unconscious, that vast reservoir of wisdom and power that connects all human minds. He understood that the subconscious is not merely a personal storehouse of memories and habits, but a gateway to something infinitely greater, the universal mind itself. When you speak to your subconscious, you are speaking to this universal mind. You are accessing powers that transcend your individual limitations. You are tapping into the same creative force that spoke the worlds into existence. This is why faith is essential. Not faith in some distant deity who may or may not choose to help you, but faith in the indwelling presence of the infinite within your own being. Jesus said in Luke 12:32, "Fear not, little flock, for it is your Father's good pleasure to give you the kingdom." The kingdom is not something you must earn. It is something you must receive. It is already being given to you in every moment with every breath. Your only task is to open yourself to receive it. Pain, whether physical or emotional, is often a signal that something within your consciousness needs attention. It is a call from your deeper self, asking you to examine your thoughts, your beliefs, your assumptions about yourself and your life. Many times, pain is the outward expression of inward conflict, guilt that has not been forgiven, fear that has not been released, resentment that has been held too long. Napoleon Hill, in his immortal work on the laws of success, taught that every adversity carries within it the seed of an equivalent or greater benefit. Your pain, as difficult as it may be to accept, contains within it the seed of your greatest healing. It has come not to punish you, but to awaken you. It has come to show you the areas of your consciousness that still need illumination. When you speak to your pain, do not speak to it with anger or resentment. Do not curse it or fight against it. What you resist persists, as Florence Scovel Shinn wisely observed. Instead, speak to it with love. Speak to it with gratitude for the message it has brought. And then, gently but firmly, release it. Tell it that its work is done. Tell it that you have received its message and that it is now free to dissolve back into the nothingness from which it came. There is a technique I have taught to thousands, and it has produced remarkable results in cases that seemed hopeless. I call it the method of identification with the infinite. Before you sleep, close your eyes and become still. Let all tension drain from your body. Breathe slowly and deeply. And then in your imagination, see yourself merging with the infinite light. See yourself becoming one with the boundless ocean of divine life. In this state of consciousness, there is no room for pain. There is no room for disease. There is only the pure, radiant wholeness of your true being. In this state, speak your word. Say, "I am one with the infinite healing presence. Every cell of my body is filled with divine light. Every atom of my being vibrates with perfect health. There is no pain in spirit, and I am spirit. There is no disease in the mind of God, and my mind is one with God's mind. I am healed. I am whole. I am perfect." Feel the truth of these words. Do not merely recite them, feel them. Let them sink into the deepest levels of your subconscious mind. Let them become more real to you than the pain itself. For whatever you feel to be true in your subconscious will be manifested in your body and in your life. Mark 11, 24 gives us the key to all manifestation, including healing. Jesus said, "Therefore I tell you, whatever you ask in prayer, believe that you have received it and it will be yours." Notice carefully what he said. He did not say, "Believe that you will receive it someday." He said, "Believe that you have received it." The healing must be accepted as a present reality, not a future hope. It must be felt as already accomplished, already yours, already manifesting in your body. This is the secret that most people miss. They pray for healing while still believing in their sickness. They ask for relief while still identifying with their pain. They hope for a miracle while simultaneously doubting that miracles are possible for them. And because the subconscious mind responds to belief rather than words, it brings them more of what they truly believe: more sickness, more pain, more suffering. But you, my friend, will be different. You have heard the truth tonight. You have received the revelation of the subconscious mind and its infinite power to heal. You now know that you are not a victim of your body or of circumstances beyond your control. You are a spiritual being, made in the image and likeness of the infinite, endowed with all the power necessary to create health, happiness, and abundance in your life. I want you to understand something vital before we continue. The subconscious mind does not process time the way the conscious mind does. To your subconscious, there is only the eternal now. When you affirm healing, when you visualize wholeness, when you feel the joy of perfect health, your subconscious receives it as a present reality and immediately begins to reorganize your body to match that reality. This is why results can sometimes appear almost instantaneously, because the subconscious does not need time to heal. It needs only your belief. Consider the placebo effect that has been documented in countless medical studies. Patients who receive sugar pills, believing them to be powerful medications, often experience the same healing as those who receive the actual drugs. Why? Because their belief activated the healing power of their subconscious mind. The pill was merely a permission slip, a trigger for the faith that already existed within them. You do not need a permission slip. You do not need a pill or a doctor or anyone else to give you authority to be healed. The authority is already yours. It was given to you by your Creator, and no one can take it from you. You need only claim it. Remember this always. The infinite power that heals is within you at this very moment. It has never left you. It has never abandoned you. It is waiting, with infinite patience and infinite love, for you to turn within and accept the gift that has always been yours. The healing power within you operates according to laws as precise and unchanging as the laws that govern the stars in their courses. Just as gravity never fails, just as the sun rises without exception, so too does the law of the subconscious mind work with absolute consistency. When you plant a seed of healing in the fertile soil of your deeper mind, it must grow. It cannot do otherwise. The only question is whether you will allow it to grow, or whether you will dig it up with doubt before it has a chance to blossom. I have seen this pattern countless times throughout my years of teaching. A man or woman will come to me, learn the principles of mental healing, apply them with enthusiasm, and begin to experience wonderful results. But then, at some critical juncture, doubt creeps in. Fear whispers its poison. The old beliefs reassert themselves. And the healing that was already underway is halted, sometimes reversed, because the individual could not maintain their faith long enough for the manifestation to complete itself. This is why I must speak to you now about the principle of non-resistance, for it is one of the most powerful and least understood aspects of mental and spiritual healing. Florence Scovel Shinn devoted much of her teaching to this principle, and she was absolutely correct to do so. She taught that what you resist persists, and what you accept and bless dissolves. This is not merely a pleasant philosophy. This is a statement of metaphysical law. When you fight against your pain, when you curse your condition, When you rail against your body for betraying you, you are actually feeding energy to the very thing you wish to eliminate. Your attention is the currency of creation. Whatever you focus upon with intensity, whether positive or negative, receives your creative energy and grows stronger. This is why the anxious mind creates more anxiety, why the fearful heart attracts more to fear, and why the person obsessed with their illness often becomes sicker. But there is another way. There is the way of non-resistance, the way of acceptance without resignation, the way of peace that transcends all understanding. When pain arises in your body, do not tense against it. Do not meet it with hostility. Instead, relax into it. Breathe into it. Accept that it exists in this present moment while simultaneously knowing that it has no permanent reality. Say to yourself with calm assurance, I acknowledge this sensation and I release all resistance to it. I allow the infinite healing presence within me to flow freely through every part of my being. I do not fight this pain, for there is nothing to fight. There is only spirit, only God, only perfect wholeness expressing through me now. This attitude of non-resistance opens the channels through which healing energy flows. When you resist, you tighten, you contract. You close down the very pathways through which restoration must come. When you release resistance, you open, you expand, you allow the divine life to circulate freely and do its perfect work. Jesus demonstrated this principle throughout his ministry. When he healed the sick, he did not strain or struggle. He did not fight against disease with clenched fists and gritted teeth. He simply spoke the word of truth with calm authority, knowing that the infinite power within him would do the work. He said to the paralyzed man, "Rise, take up your bed and walk," and the man was healed instantly. There was no drama, no battle, no prolonged struggle against the condition. There was only the quiet certainty of truth, spoken with absolute conviction. You have this same power within you, not a lesser version of it, not a diluted form, the same power. Jesus himself said in John 14:12, "Very truly I tell you, whoever believes in me will do the works I have been doing, and they will do even greater things than these." He did not say that only special people could do these works. He said whoever believes. This includes you. This includes everyone who hears these words and takes them to heart. But belief alone is not enough. Belief must be accompanied by feeling. This is where many sincere seekers go wrong. They repeat affirmations mechanically without feeling their truth. They visualize healing intellectually without experiencing it emotionally. And because the subconscious mind is moved by feeling rather than by mere words, their efforts produce little result. Neville Goddard understood this profoundly. He taught that the secret of successful manifestation lies in assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Not just thinking about what you want, but feeling what it would feel like to already have it. When you imagine yourself healed, you must feel the joy of being healed. You must feel the freedom of a body that moves without pain. You must feel the gratitude of waking each morning in perfect health. This feeling, deeply experienced and consistently maintained, is what impresses the subconscious mind and brings forth the manifestation. Let me share with you another case from my experience, for these examples serve to anchor the principles in reality and show you what is possible when the laws of mind are properly applied. A young man came to me suffering from severe migraine headaches that had plagued him for years. These headaches would incapacitate him for days at a time, leaving him unable to work, unable to think, unable to do anything but lie in darkness waiting for the agony to pass. He had tried every medical intervention available, but nothing provided lasting relief. When I spoke with him, I discovered that his headaches had begun shortly after a traumatic event in his life, the sudden death of his father. He had never fully processed this grief. He had pushed it down, buried it, refused to face it. And the grief, having no other outlet, had manifested as physical pain. I explained to him that his body was speaking to him through these headaches. It was trying to get his attention, trying to force him to address the unresolved emotions he had been avoiding. The pain was not his enemy, it was his ally, attempting to guide him toward healing. We began a program of mental and emotional healing. First, I had him enter into the relaxed, receptive state I described earlier. In that state, I guided him to imagine his father standing before him, whole and radiant and filled with peace. I had him speak to his father in imagination, saying everything he had never had the chance to say, expressing his love, his gratitude, his grief, his anger, all of it, holding nothing back. Then I had him imagine his father responding with perfect love and forgiveness, assuring him that all was well, that there was no separation in spirit, that death was merely a doorway to another expression of eternal life. I had him feel his father's embrace, feel the warmth and safety of that connection, feel the healing that comes when love is allowed to flow freely. After this inner work was complete, I taught him to speak to his body with authority. He would say, "I now release all grief, all guilt, all unresolved emotion from my body and my mind. I forgive myself completely. I forgive everyone completely. I am at peace. My mind is clear. My body is free. There is no need for pain, for I have heard the message and received the healing." Within 6 weeks, his migraine stopped entirely. Not reduced, stopped. His body no longer needed to send him distress signals because the underlying cause had been addressed. This case illustrates a crucial point. Sometimes the pain we experience is not simply physical. It is the body's expression of emotional or spiritual distress. Carl Jung understood this deeply. He wrote extensively about the connection between the unconscious mind and physical symptoms. He observed that when we repress aspects of ourselves, when we refuse to integrate our shadow, these rejected elements often emerge as physical ailments. This is why true healing must address the whole person, body, mind, and spirit. You cannot simply treat symptoms while ignoring causes. You cannot paint over rust and expect the structure to hold. You must go to the root, address the underlying beliefs and emotions, and transform them at their source. The Bible speaks to this truth in Proverbs 4:23, "Above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it." Your heart in the biblical sense is your subconscious mind, the seat of your deepest beliefs, your most fundamental assumptions about yourself and reality. Everything in your life flows from this source. Guard it carefully, fill it with truth, cleanse it of error, and watch as your outer world transforms to match your inner state. Now I must speak to you about divine timing, for this is another area where many people stumble on their healing journey. When you plant a seed in the ground, you do not dig it up every few hours to check if it has sprouted. You trust in the process. You know that the intelligence within the seed, combined with the nurturing elements of soil and water and sunlight, will produce the plant in due time. You do not try to force the growth or hurry the process. The same patience and trust must be applied to the seeds of healing you plant in your subconscious mind. When you speak your word of truth, when you visualize your wholeness, when you feel the feeling of being healed, you have planted a seed. Now you must let it grow. You must trust that the infinite intelligence within you knows exactly how to bring forth the manifestation. You must not dig it up with doubt or try to micromanage the process with anxiety. This is what it means to let go and let God. You do your part, the mental and spiritual work of impressing your subconscious with the truth of your healing, and then you release it to the infinite. You stop worrying about how it will happen or when it will happen. You simply rest in the quiet confidence that it is happening, that the work is already underway, that your good is already moving toward you. James 1:6-8 warns us about the danger of double-mindedness. But when you ask, you must believe and not doubt, because the one who doubts is like a wave of the sea, blown and tossed by the wind. That person should not expect to receive anything from the Lord. Such a person is double-minded and unstable in all they do. Double-mindedness is the enemy of manifestation. If you affirm healing in the morning and then spend the rest of the day worrying about your condition, you are canceling out your own work. If you visualize wholeness for 5 minutes and then dwell on sickness for 5 hours, which impression do you think will dominate your subconscious? This is why maintaining the consciousness of wholeness is so essential. It is not enough to occasionally think healing thoughts. You must build a mental atmosphere in which healing is natural and expected. You must cultivate a state of consciousness in which sickness cannot take root because there is no hospitality for it in your mind. How do you do this? Through constant, gentle practice. Through repeatedly returning your attention to the truth whenever you notice it has wandered into fear or doubt. Through filling your mind with life-affirming ideas, reading scriptures that speak of healing, listening to teachings that reinforce your faith, surrounding yourself with people who believe in your wholeness rather than those who constantly remind you of your problems. Napoleon Hill taught that the mind becomes what it feeds upon. He observed that successful people habitually think thoughts of success, while those who fail habitually think thoughts of failure. The same principle applies to healing. If you want to be healthy, you must habitually think thoughts of health. You must make wellness your dominant mental state, your default setting, the place your mind naturally returns when left to itself. I encourage you to create what I call a healing atmosphere in your mind. Every morning upon waking, before you rise from your bed, spend a few moments filling your consciousness with images of perfect health. See yourself moving through the day with energy and vitality. Feel the joy of a body that functions perfectly. Give thanks for your healing as though it were already complete, because in the mind of the infinite, it is complete. The manifestation in the physical world is simply the outer expression of what already exists in the spiritual realm. Throughout the day, whenever you notice negative thoughts arising, gently replace them with their opposite. If you catch yourself thinking, "This pain will never go away," immediately substitute, "The healing power of God is dissolving this condition now." If you find yourself imagining worst-case scenarios, redirect your imagination toward best-case scenarios. You are the guardian of your own mind. No one else can think your thoughts for you. This is your responsibility and your privilege. In the evening, before sleep, repeat the process. Enter into that drowsy, receptive state where the subconscious is most open to suggestion. Speak your word of healing with quiet confidence. Feel the truth of your affirmations. Fall asleep with the feeling of wholeness pervading your entire being. The subconscious mind works throughout the night, and whatever you give it before sleep, it will work upon while you rest. I want to address one more crucial point before we conclude, and it concerns the role of forgiveness in healing. Many people carry within them resentments, grudges, and unforgiven hurts that act as invisible poisons, slowly undermining their health and happiness. They may not even be conscious of these buried emotions, yet the body feels them and responds accordingly. The Bible is emphatic about the importance of forgiveness. In Matthew 6:14-15, Jesus says, "For if you forgive other people when they sin against you, your heavenly Father will also forgive you. But if you do not forgive others their sins, your Father will not forgive your sins." This is not God being vindictive. It is a statement of psychological law. When you hold unforgiveness in your heart, you block the flow of divine love through your being. You create congestion in your consciousness that must eventually manifest as congestion in your body. To forgive does not mean to condone what was done to you. It does not mean to pretend that you were not hurt. It means to release the other person from the prison of your resentment, and in so doing to release yourself. For truly, when you refuse to forgive, you are not punishing the other person. you are punishing yourself. You are drinking poison and waiting for them to die. Sit quietly and bring to mind anyone against whom you hold resentment. It may be a parent who disappointed you, a spouse who betrayed you, a friend who abandoned you, or even yourself for past mistakes. Whoever it is, see them clearly in your imagination, and then speak these words silently or aloud. I forgive you completely. I release you and I release myself. I let go of all resentment, all bitterness, all desire for revenge. I wish you well. I bless you on your journey. And I free myself to receive all the good that God has for me. Feel the release as you say these words. Feel the burden lifting from your shoulders. Feel the channels of divine love opening within you, allowing healing energy to flow freely to every cell of your body. This practice alone has healed more people than all the medicines in the world combined. For when you forgive, you remove the blockages that have been preventing your good from reaching you. You align yourself with the flow of universal love, and that love, flowing unobstructed through your being, heals all conditions. My friend, you have now received the essence of divine healing as I have come to understand it through decades of study and practice. You know that the infinite healing presence dwells within you, waiting only for your recognition and acceptance. You know that your thoughts and feelings are the commands you give to your subconscious mind, and that your subconscious faithfully executes those commands in your body and affairs. You know the power of the spoken word, the importance of feeling, the necessity of non-resistance, and the liberating force of forgiveness. But knowledge alone will not heal you. You must apply what you have learned. You must take these principles and put them into practice consistently and persistently until they become second nature to you. The truth can set you free, but only if you use it. I leave you with this final thought. You are not a body that has a spirit. You are a spirit that has a body. Your true nature is divine, eternal, and perfect. The sickness you have experienced is not a reflection of who you really are. It is a temporary condition arising from temporary thoughts. Change the thoughts, and the condition must change. Align your consciousness with truth, and truth will manifest in every area of your life. The same power that spoke the universe into existence is speaking through you right now. The same intelligence that orchestrates the dance of galaxies is orchestrating the healing of your body at this very moment. Trust in this power. Surrender to this intelligence. Let go of your fears and your doubts, and allow the infinite to do its perfect work through you. You are healed. You are whole. You are free. Not because I say so, but because God says so. Not because you will become these things, but because you already are these things in your essential nature. Claim your inheritance. Accept your good. Rise up in the dignity of your divine nature and walk forward into the radiant health and abundant life that is your birthright. As it is written in 3 John 1:2, Beloved, I wish above all things that thou mayest prosper and be in health, even as thy soul prospereth. Let your soul prosper through the knowledge you have received tonight. Let your body follow your soul into perfect health, and let your life become a testimony to the infinite power of the subconscious mind and the unfailing love of the God who dwells within you. Go now in peace. Go in confidence. Go in the unshakable knowing that you are never alone, never helpless, never without the resources you need to meet any challenge. The kingdom of heaven is within you, and in that kingdom there is no pain, no sickness, no limitation of any kind. Enter that kingdom through the door of your own consciousness and live from that exalted place forever. You are more than you know. You are greater than you have ever imagined. You are the beloved child of the infinite, heir to all the treasures of the universe. Claim your healing. Claim your wholeness. Claim your freedom. And never, ever forget the infinite power that lives and moves and has its being within you.